been raised right.
Yeah,
Unaona?
exactly.
So I could see the signature of this being a funded movement.
Not a
Hakuna kitu kama unaweza nisikizia ati hiyo kitu ilikuwa for women's rights. Bro, ukiangalia there were like 3 or 4 women who were killed. Now ukiangalia the stats, there are way more women who have been killed over a period of time, but kila mtu alibaki silent.
True.
What triggered he march ya wase kwenda huko nje? So I was like, this has the white man in it.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to play ball.
Me, I hate the white people like nobody's business, my friend. They're the cancer of this world, and I'm sorry to say that. They have always been since time immemorial. They are the thieves of this world. Yeah, they are the Roman Empire. They are the Babylonians. That spirit has never left them. Yes.
Ulisikia Wairimu vile anaitanga. Unajua Wairimu
Wairimu Mokoro?
Yeah.
Niliwacha nini yake.
Wairimu anaitanga the pink man.
Yeah, true.
The pink man.
So he's the cold man.
The thing with them is wako na years of experiments and data collection na nini. Propaganda.
That's how they work, man. CIA is a tool of propaganda. Hizi media houses zao, CNN, hizi zote. And that's how they've been able to run the world. They corrupt good programs, the good mental, spiritual programs in people. They corrupt them. They are the father of corruptions. But anyway, we are not here to discuss about them. But it's good people to... Ni vizuri watu wajue, they are not friends. And you should not believe anything that comes from them. Question it.
Hiki tunampata light po? No, uko sawa. You're good.
Uko fiti, yeah?
Na mimi nilikuwa naangalia tu ka light yake iko poa.
All right.
So, when it comes to liberation, because same thing nilikuwa naambia Elias alikuwa amekaa hapa. Yes, me I'm all for Morara.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. However, I'm yet to find someone mwenye atakuja niambie, "Yo, Naz, this is how I'm going to deal with the white man."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I get because the thing is, ukiangalia how their roots are very ingrained in us. And there's another guy niliona bado on TikTok, and this is the good thing about like following everyone mwenye at least akona a valid opinion. Ambapo ama an opinion ina lead mahali. This person alifanya a bulb wake, not one bulb, like 1,000 bulbs wake kwa kichwa yangu. Alisema Kenya did not gain independence because the white man saw fit aachie Africa na land yao. It was the settlers in Kenya who are fighting for freedom. Like wakwe distance with the royal family. Wako nataka to be part and parcel of the royal family. They are the ones who pushed for independence. Nilisikia hiyo story, bro, my mind blew. It's like, unajua the moment you have been reading, kuna vitu tu fulani haijakuja copy of yako, and then once it comes you're like, oh.
So even them, they were looking for freedom from now the main oppressor.
Exactly. But same thing with South Africa. So unasikia South Africa saizi wanataka kufanya ile story ya Cape. Ikuwe like independent na nini.
Yeah.
Right now kuna narratives ya whites wanasema sisi tulikuja hapa before Africans. Of which imedisputiwa mara mingi. So ukiangalia, the signature is the same. These people were trying to leave ama cut off the royal family from the settler land in Africa.
From paying the taxes to them there.
It has never been about us, bro. Simple as that.
Has never been. We should realize why the black man struggles with his history. Everybody seems to understand their history, but the black man struggles with their history. The kind of conversations we need to tell Africans. The Bible is a slave man's book. So if we want to trace our roots, we start with who are the slaves.
Okay.
Slaves have been the black people. Okay. It's called Egypt. Egypt became a superpower when the black Hebrews were there for 400 years. Why? The black people are the only people, the melanine people, I call us the melanine people. Because melanin is the shock absorbers of the sun. A black man and a black woman can work from morning to evening under the sun. And that's how you create wealth. That's how you create an empire. You don't work at night. Okay? So if you look at the sun and the black man, these are two people connected. Our history has it when the black man was created, the world used to be very cold. And the man came with warmth and said, this is a man from the sun. He came with light. You getting? This is a man from the sun, and he came from the light. And so the Quran and the Bible says that God created a man out of his own image. What is the color of the earth? It's copper. It's brown. It's melanin.
Okay, wacha nikurudishe nyuma. I'm not having an argument. But the perception of his image is different from the Christian version. You get God, as in to the Muslims rather, they say God made Adam in his image. You know, if you translate hiyo unaweza pata two meaning the first meaning is God created Adam from his own personal image, or God created Adam from his image, Adam's image. The word his hatujui it's who tunaongelelea. According to me, faith inakuanga very personal. I don't like touching on it because me mwenyewe sijai perfect na hii ni kitu belief yangu. I never try to fact check belief because ni kitu haiwezi. It's a belief, you believe it. Haina evidence ama kitu kama hiyo. I think God is so big that hawezi fit into his image, and the word image has a lot to it. Na si sura peke yake, iko na emotion. You get?
I get.
So if we are the same as God, inamaanisha God ako na emotion. Inamaanisha judgment yake haitakuwa right. You get me? So when Muslims also share that, but the word his haimaanishi to God. It references that God made Adam in his image, in Adam's image. Am I getting it? It's English.
I'm trying to get you, but when you talk about image is a reflection.
Okay.
If I look at a mirror, what I get is an image, is a reflection of who I am. Okay? And that's why, and this has to do everything with I am who I am. So if I look at the mirror, I am able to see who I am from the reflection of the mirror. Are you getting me?
I get you.
And so how man is created, one thing, who is God? He's a creator. Can man create? Yes, man has been creating ever since. He's been creating things that never existed. And so that's a plus. Man is supposed to be just. When we're talking about justice, you put emotions aside because you can't have emotions and be just. But again, when you need to have mercy on people, your emotions play the role. And so when I look at man, I see the creation of God in his own doing. And I keep telling people, we need to operate from a place of knowing, not believing. If you believe, anything and anyone can change that belief. But if you know and you know, if you know something, you know this is a camera, this is a Canon. I don't believe this is a Canon. I know this is a Canon. So you can't convince me this is another make of a camera. So that is why we are struggling with our history today to be in the state of believing. But if we know and we know, nobody can take us from what we know. And that's why there's a scripture in the Bible that says, and them that know their God shall be powerful, shall be strong, they shall do great things. Why? You know who God is and how he does things. So you know him, that power is too much to contain, to be able to do nothing. You have to explode with greatness. And that's why we have to cross from the level of believing to the level of knowing. If someone asks you, who is God? God is like me. I'm in the image of God. Another scripture says in the book of Psalms, don't you know ye are gods? But you die like mere men because you do not know your gods. Why? Because a cow gives birth to a cow. A dog can only produce another dog. A cat produces a cat in its own image. And so who is God? God is a God who created a man to take over him. So who is God? Dominion, authority, and leadership. That is who God created us to be. And that is why you see today there's so much corruption in the world, because man seems to struggle with identifying who he is. And if you go to these guys who love motivating people, they tell you, you need to know who you are. You need to know what power you have. So that whatever the world conspires against you, you're able to fight, because the human race is always at war. You know, this planet is invaded by so many species, and they really want to dwell in this world. But until you realize that it is in God's image, that's when you have power, dominion, and authority. Am I making sense?
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
So people, so people need to know who they are. Yeah.
You're making sense. in the context you're talking about, because sasa we are bordering Christianity, right?
Yeah. It's
But
not
what
Christianity. This is not a Christianity issue.
Okay.
I believe religion is one of the tools that has been used to divide people. So you start identifying yourself as a
True.
Muslim, I start
True.
identifying myself as
Very
a
right.
Christian.
However-
Another person says this is a Zionist. But I keep telling people, I have studied Islam. I have studied Zionism. I have studied Christianity. And the reason I tend to go more on the side of Christianity is because the story of Jesus is not told. And actually, his name was not Jesus. He was Yeshua, Yehusha. The Roman Empire, the Europeans, they changed his name 400 years ago. King James. You get it? You can do all that research. It's there. Then the letter J was not existing until these Roman empires started editing the Bible. And in fact, the Bible is a collection of prophecies, a collection of chronicles that happened to the Hebrews. Unaget, eh?
Before you go on, nataka kurudisha nyuma where I said it depends on the context.
Okay.
Because the good thing umeniambia you have studied these religions,
Yeah.
Leziko, which is very good. In that case, inamaanisha you already know the genesis ya Waislamu haianzangi hapo. God said let there be day and light.
Yeah.
It starts before.
Way before, yeah.
It starts the race of the jinns.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right? So can I nianze context? When I say context, it starts there, because when I say I don't believe that, and this is just me,
Yeah.
I don't believe we are made in the image of God, because there was another creation before us. There was another race of jinns, akina Lucifer na nani.
Yeah.
How come itengenezwa
The
in
reptilians.
okay, we are going to get there.
Okay.
Bro, unaenda fast na kwambia hii ni wacha niandike hapo. Reptilians. So the thing is,
Yeah.
walikuwa majins.
Yeah.
So to Islam, jinns were made out of fire. You see? Na characteristics za fire, we can see them. They shapeshift, they're angry, they're violent, nini. Evil is also associated with fire in some way. Whilst the angels are made of pure light. They are programmed. Hawana free will. They cannot go against God. So in Islam, your story of fallen angels, hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
You see? So when we come back to Adam, Adam in Arabic is Adan.
Adan.
Do you know what Adan means? Black. You see? So the point is, kitu nakwambia ni when Adam was being created, alitengenezwa out of clay.
Yeah.
And the components of clay, unaweza ziona kwa mwili yetu mpaka leo.
Yeah,
that's the biological anatomy tuko nayo. You see? So you can see traces, because this hasn't been God's first rodeo in terms of creation.
Yeah, true, I agree.
Amekuwa akicreate vitu.
Yep.
It's just that now this time
that's what scientists call evolution. Yeah.
So when it came to now the world of Adam, hii sasa sisi tuko. When
it's about 6,700 to 7,000 years ago, the story of Adam.
7,000 hiyo si kidogo sana.
That's the story of Adam. 7,000 years
ago.
Yes.
Si kidogo.
Iko hivyo.
But 7,000 years si kidogo. I don't know, but I'm just asking.
Ni miaka mob sana, because as you said, the world has kept going through changes. God has been creating. We are not the first beings on this world.
No, but Mbanya, you want to tell me that from Adam mpaka hapa tuko 700 years. 7,000 years.
Yeah.
Unajua kwa nini nasema hiyo ni kidogo? But Fort Jesus, do you know how old Fort Jesus is? Fort Jesus is 500 years old.
500?
That's 500 years old.
And I'm talking about 7,000 years.
No problem. Hesabu, I'm just looking at the scale of it.
Yeah, okay.
Personally, me, I was thinking it's like close to, I don't know, 600,000 years. If I don't know. I'm not sure, but wacha tu niangalie, but I don't really nakatu kidogo.
7,000 years is no joke. If you're talking about the story of Yeshua, we are talking about 2,000 years ago.
Wakisema something,
when we're talking about the story of Noah, we are talking about 4,000 years
What
ago.
about Enoch?
Enoch,
because Enoch is 6th generation from Adam. So, and these guys used to live for long.
Exactly. The longest man to live was Methuselah, yeah? He lived about 990 something years, close to 1,000 years.
It wasn't Adam?
No, it was not Adam.
No one knows actually when Adam died.
Yeah, because no one knows actually when he was born, when he started counting his years.
Okay. But technically, as in hiyo ndo ingefanya Adam akwe the oldest man.
Exactly. But nobody knows. At what point did he start counting his years? But in our Bible, we know that Methuselah is the man who lived for the longest.
Remind me the story around Methuselah.
He was a priest. He was a priest that who, in time of Noah, he was he the uncle or something? He was related to Noah. So he was getting instructions from God, giving them to Noah. Is it Abraham? Noah? Yeah. No. Can I check?
Yeah, go
Checking
ahead.
is very important.
Very important.
Methuselah.
To connect na Wi-Fi?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Let me give you the
Niko
password.
hapa chini hapa.
Mpatie tu. Okay, just give it to me.
Alright.
Okay, mpatie. Why are we being confused?
So,
So back to my point, I guess hata hapa ni I'm not trying to bring an argument, but to me, ama ile perception nimeweka of God. I will tell you even why I believe in God. I don't know if you do believe in God, but what you don't do is religion.
I don't do religion, yeah.
But God unaamini yako hapo.
Yes. God is humanity. God, there is a reason why Yeshua was called the Son of Man. So who is this man?
So search Methuselah.
Methuselah is here. 3074 BC, Methuselah in Hebrew Bible, patriarch whose lifespan is recorded in Genesis was 969 years. So how is Methuselah connected to he was the great grandson of Seth, the child of Adam and Eve.
So the great.
So that's a first and second, third generation from Eve and Adam.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Because he was a great grandson of Seth.
That's 5 generations.
Yeah, that's 5, eh? Seth, the child of Adam and Eve, begotten more than a century after Cain.
So Seth, that's 6.
Yes.
6 and then Adam 10.
No.
Seth is the?
Let's go like this. Seth is the guy who was born by Eve and Adam after Cain killed Abel, and he came in a century after Cain.
So the thing is, see, Adam ni first century.
Ni first century.
So
he's
Seth,
the first generation.
Okay, good. Seth ni mtoi
wa Adam.
So again, that's second generation.
That's second generation.
So kutoka ile 5, then Seth 6, so seventh generation.
Seventh generation, yeah. So that's he was the father of Lamech and a grandfather of Noah. You know the story of Noah?
Yes, sir.
Now that's another evolution when God decided to, bring the human race to an end and saved the human race with 8 people. You know that story.
Was it 8? I don't know how many people were in the ark, but I know the whole story.
It was floods. 8 people. It was 8 people. Noah and his 4 sons and their wives. So a total of 8. It's actually in the Bible. Hadley, Stockholm.
Bro, does it fascinate you how that ark used to operate? Kuna vitu zingine I'm not disbelieving, but I'm just fascinated with the architecture of your kitu. Because for how many days did it flood? How many years was it?
He built the ark for 100 years.
Okay.
For 100 years. And the rain was in the world for 40 days and 40 nights. So how long did it take for the water to completely disappear from the face of the earth? It's something we can search. It's here. Yeah, but sometimes when you think about these things, you tend to ask, who helped that guy build the ark? Some historian says that the fallen angels helped him make the ark, because it doesn't make sense that he would create such kind of a structure by himself. But anyway, those are things that we can argue, because some historian says that. But there was a supernatural power that helped him build the ark.
Because the moment when God was sending messages to the prophets, alikuwa anatumia nani? Angel Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
Angel Gabriel, you know, one of the biggest
angel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So of course there has to be some
supernatural
intervention,
yeah.
You see, so as in sidhani, and especially sa ile uko na God by your side, things zitamove haraka because instructions zimetoka kwake, endo alipatiwa hizo measurements, you see.
And you know, now the story of Noah is when we have the story of the fallen angels, when they had corrupted the world in so much iniquity, and that's when God realized, man, this is too much, this cannot continue, because the Nephilims were living around that time, and they became so many of them that even feeding them was a problem.
Nephilims, the giants,
yeah.
Yani tulikuwa na story na wairimu to a point that even we forgot it. Let's talk about it, Nephilims. Tutarudi hapa tu kwa Noah.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Nephilims, because me point yangu ya Noah and the whole thing, it just fascinates me how, think of this, because think of waliambia weke all the animals together, right? You have to understand that they were basically living in a whole boat with a whole ecosystem.
It was a mini world. It was a mini world.
Thank you.
Probably there were even gardens to grow the food.
Imagine.
You know, it was just a crazy
kuna
idea.
Hii story fulani ma scientists wanasema that watatengeneza something like hiyo ark ya kwenda to the next habitable planet. Of which the next habitable planet ni Kepler 22b. Kepler 22b.
Bro, that's a lie. Nobody can leave the earth. Nobody has left the earth. Nobody is leaving the earth anytime, whether dead or alive.
The thing is, wacha nikwambie comedy. Humor me here. Saa zingine mi utaka tu ku accept an ideology until ni realize how far it can go. So they are going to build this ship, so first of all, how long does it take from hapa mpaka Kepler 22b? At least 1 light year away. Na unajua there's no way 1 light year compared to human years, I don't know, that's 1,000 years of travel.
Exactly.
You get? And I always tell my friends, there's no technology itaikuja ku happen that an object will take us at the speed of light. There's nothing that can travel at the speed of light other than light itself.
Technically, it's impossible.
Very impossible.
Yes.
Kuna ile content nilifanya juu ya GeForce. And then I asked AI, hypothetical. What's the GeForce? Yeah, a spaceship that inaweza enda at the speed of light. Now, before I even tell you,
what materials will create that thing?
Let's even assume
there are materials to build.
Okay, good. Do you know ile GeForce ya jet? GeForce ya jet is around 6 Gs to 9 Gs, of which si kila mtu anaweza nayo. You get? GeForce past 15 hivi inaweza fanya vessels zako hizi blood vessels zibust. Now, this traveling at the speed of light can give you 34,000 Gs. Now kumbuka ile jet ni ngapi? 9
bana.
Ya gari I don't know if you're a car enthusiast. Yeah, F1.
I'm a married man with children. No longer.
So F1 at least kuna 3 ama 4 Gs in it. That's why ama Formula 1 nini wako na big necks.
Exactly.
Because of that force, you see. Now you tell me 34 Gs mtu anaweza zihandle aje. Even tuseme tu. But no problem. Let's even assume tumehack your story at 34 Gs. So how are we going to reach Kepler 22b? So the idea was tutengeneze kitu kama Noah's Ark. Kila kitu inaingia hapo. Tunaweka like the best genes za humans hapa. Alafu hao waende wakimultiply huko. Unasikia how the idea is comical.
Let me tell you, the only way that would be possible is that we have some human beings that are masquerading as beings like us, but they are aliens. They have the technology to get there.
Back to your reptilian.
Yes, back to exactly. All these thing is connected. So they probably have the technology. And what I know is that the human race is at war as we speak right now. We are not the only people in this world. That's what I believe. There is so much... there's so much that is going on. I don't think even people are ready for this conversation.
They're not, bro.
They are not ready for this conversation. And so instead of giving them brain freeze, wacha tuwalete pole hadi wafike. So probably they know how to get there.
Okay.
But that would mean we have aliens, the reptilians, living amongst us.
Good. Now another story, mafans wangu wameni, mimi nakuanga na beef. Nakuanga na beef na maflat earthers na watu wanaamini aliens. Now, I do believe they are aliens.
Yeah.
However, I don't believe the mainstream aliens. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The big head, small eye, green people, nah fam, I don't believe in those people.
It's just an idea.
Now, back to your reptilian and aliens. You remember the story of the jinn ilikuwa nakuambia?
Yeah.
Unajua si wote walimalizwa. Bado the Lucifer kuna his own jeshi.
Yeah.
Now they can shapeshift.
Yeah.
They can do anything.
Yeah.
They can become even members of parliament.
Exactly. Most of these billionaires you see today question them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Na hata historia the fallen angels vile I don't think it's in the Christian Bible, but history of fallen angels kukuja and mating with humans.
Yeah, humans.
I do believe it in a sort of level. However, I don't think ati wata replicate another being. No, I don't believe in that. However, bado kuna watu inajulikana like in stories within the Muslim community that they have married jinns. You get? Like kuna ma story, kuna testimonies that kuna watu wameoa majini.
Even hata siku hizi nasikia Christians wakisema they are calling them spiritual husbands and spiritual wives.
How does that work?
You're sleeping. A being comes into your room, you can't see them. They have sex with you, you can feel it, and you can even experience it, and then they go.
See wet dream?
No, something bigger than that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So something happens. Sasa you see in that context, kama tunaenda in that context, I'd be like...
That tells you we are not alone in this world.
No problem.
Yeah.
Lakini bro, there's nothing as dumb as a flying saucer with green people, alafu light inaekwa hivi, alafu your light inakulevitate to their ship. Nah, fam, I'm not buying that.
Let me tell you, bro, everything you see in movies is a concept, and I don't watch movies for fun. I watch movies to understand concepts, what they are planning for us, what are they planning to do with us. And so these are demons that are being prepared to be ushered into a world in form of aliens. Subconsciously, we have accepted it's there. The question is, consciously, will us accept it when it starts happening? But these are not aliens. These are Nephilims. These are fallen angels. These are demons. And so they plan to bring them like that. So all these movies you see, question the concept, because that is what they are planning.
Do you know the people of Ad?
Ad.
Go Google. It's in the Islamic context. Now your point, your Nephilim, they're giants, right? So the people
giants.
of Ad used to be big. Mpaka their houses iko in historical sites mpaka leo. Sijui pali iko. God damn, I'm going to search it before the end of the show. They used to carve houses in the mountains.
Yeah.
That's how big they were. Unachiki the tallest tree in the area, walikuwa naikuja kama wameingwa kama nini. So that's how huge they were. Exactly. And speaking of huge, me I believe humans walikuanga way bigger than vile tuko saizi. Because some narratives inasema Adam's height was 40 feet. This guy was 40 feet tall.
That's a new one, but I have not heard about that one.
Yeah, because I'm even wondering why the hell kungekuwa na giants and other race. Hiyo ndo kitu nimekuwa, but however, inasemekana, I don't have right facts. Inasemekana Adam was 40 feet, alibuildiwa akiwa 40 feet, and once we die in the Islamic context, tutaenda to part with that original height of ours, which is 40 feet. So how these people of Ad wakakuja wakatuharibia because wao walikuwa nasema who is more powerful than us. Walikuwa very disobedient. They were taller than the tallest mountains, bro. Ndo sasa Mungu akakuja akasema na nyinyi wasimeka sana.
How do you even feed someone who is 40 foot? What kind of food would they need to
The
eat?
ecosystem haingeza kusupport. Because
Exactly.
no.
Isn't that the same concept with dinosaurs? Because it is said that they ate everything. They started cannibalizing themselves until there was
the
nothing else to eat.
Think of this, if God would make a 40-foot man, God can also make a 10-foot tiger. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because of course, as a product developer, you may develop a lot of things. There's a way ukidevelop a product, unaangalia the scope of things on a practical level, see? So of course, if men were 40, kama were 40 feet tall, kama aliamua kutuangusha sisi wote, inamaanisha pia every animal na nini zilishuka chini na sisi. Because the mammoths were way huge.
They were huge, yeah.
Unaget?
And there has been evidence archaeologically of mammoths.
But let me fascinate you. Do you know that dinosaur story? Ni bullshit.
It's bullshit. I don't believe in it by the way. It's bullshit.
The dinosaur story.
But again, I believe the world is millions and millions of years old.
Okay.
I believe the world is millions and millions of years old. And the world will continue to be as old as billions of years to come. I also believe that one day humanity will attain immortality.
Okay. Immortality in what sense?
In terms of knowledge, there's a man called Enoch. You know the story of Enoch. He's the guy who speaks about the fallen angels. There's actually a book called the Book of Enoch.
But that book is an apocryphal.
Whatever it is, we can discuss about that later.
However, before you go on, Enoch was I don't know if you know this, but Enoch was the first person who wrote with a pen. Sijui kama mnajua hiyo?
I don't know that.
Okay, go on.
But what I know, he's one of the people who rose in the highest dimension of knowledge. Okay? He was so brilliant, he was so knowledgeable that he could not even die. God had to take him. Because in our Bible it says that Enoch walked with God until he was no more. He's one of the guys who did not experience death. And I believe that human beings...
Him and Jesus.
Jesus died.
To our context.
Jesus died. Jesus died. He tasted death.
To our context, he didn't.
He didn't,
Yeah,
the
he didn't.
Islamic content,
Yeah.
So, Enoch is one of the guys, and he's the guy who brings so much knowledge about the Nephilims and everything, and the projections and the future world, how it will look like. But the guy never died. Yet he was born of a woman. Okay? But he rose in the levels of knowledge. Because I believe death is in ignorance. Pain is in ignorance. And I believe evolution is happening here in the mind. Everything is happening here. Because even people say life is in the blood, but living is in the mind. So we are evolving each and every passing day. One day we shall evolve to the knowledge that we will not die. And I believe that is when, because I believe heaven is real, but heaven was created for God. That's where God stays. And then he created this world. Whether it is God who created it or not, I believe he brought us here to colonize this earth into his systems. So that Yeshua taught us and said, when you pray this, our Father who art in heaven. So where does
you don't
he live?
believe he's the Son of God, do you?
Jesus. I believe he's a God. He's a son of God. I also believe I'm in that lineage of Jesus. I'm a son of God like him.
Okay.
You're a son of God like him because you're a human being.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are all sons of God. It's in that lineage. And I believe he came to show us how it's done and how we should do it. Okay? And that's why religion, the Roman Empire, could not stand this guy because he was waking the masses up. Okay? He brought the kingdom of God and he was telling, you and I, we are one people. He never fought anybody for being a different religion. In fact, he was dining and eating with people who the Hebrews could not see eye to eye because they believed these were not like us. Okay? And so I believe that every day we are coming to this knowledge of what life is. This knowledge is coming to people. It's God-given knowledge. It's not given by man. Okay? And so one day we are going to defeat death. But the first person we need to defeat is Satan, as sons of God. Because God is not in the habit of fight. God can only fight another God. I believe there is only one God, the source of all things. Whether we're talking about millions of years ago, whether we are talking of billions of years to come, there is only one God, the source of all things. And so, when the story of Lucifer, when he fell from the grace that he was in, it was not God who fought him. It was in his equal creation, an person, an archangel in his equal. I want to believe even God went to do other businesses and said, take care of that guy. Because a God can only fight another God. Okay? So I believe we are coming into the knowledge of who we really are as human beings. We're going to put our differences aside, whether Christians, whether Muslims, whatever religion you come from, whatever color you come from. I believe one day the war is going to be about DNA. If you have our DNA, it doesn't matter whether you have 50% Luciferian DNA. We are going to go for that DNA of ours. So that now there will be an internal war between your DNA and the DNA of the other person. And if you carry our DNA, I believe our DNA, the human beings, because we are created in the image of God, will put the Luciferian and the green, the reptilians DNA down, and people will realize, oh, they will wake up like they were sleeping. Oh, God, I have had the DNA of God all along. And I believe that's where we are headed. When we get there, we will not die. And we will see the kingdom of God come down, and it will be one. You know, the paradise that we look forward to. That is when the kingdom of God will merge with our kingdom, because we have woken up to the fact that we are gods. You, as we started this conversation, the word says in the book of Psalms, don't ye know your gods, but you die like mere men or princesses or princes, because you do not know that. So what happens when you realize you're God? There is no death in God. And I believe that is the knowledge that humanity is going to gain with time.
Do you think when you read the Bible in English, ni kama iko compromised because you're not
you're
not reading it in its original?
Yeah, a lot.
Because here's the thing. If you look at the word God in Hebrew, ama in any Semitic language, it's Ilah, Elai, something along those lines. Najua nabucha hizo jina. You see? However, if you look at the Christian Bible in Arabic, because there are Arabs who are Christians, right? There is no, like the word Allah, haiezi tumika. And this is why I usually tell people, sometimes it's good to study linguistics. Ndo kwa maana utaelewa why those people are coming from. Even my mother tongue, niko nje mother tongue yangu, which najaribu kuitafuta.
You're going back to your roots, yeah.
Exactly. It's very important.
It's extremely important.
Now, the word Allah, I want you to kupatia homework. Go search on it. Haiwezi ongezwa S in Arabic. Meaning if you're trying to say the word gods, you will use Ilayama, something in those Semitic languages. But the moment you're trying to single out God, utasema Allah. Sijui kama una get it.
I'm getting
it goes back to the so however much ndio unasema yes, we are gods. I believe the human creation is so powerful. And what makes it powerful, not only by the fact that tumepatiwa a will, but Mungu ndo ametuweka in charge. Yo, name that animal.
Yeah.
Hiyo inaitwa lion. Who named it? It was not God.
Na inakuwa.
You understand? The power of free will. In fact, even Lucifer.
God did not create a car. Human beings created cars.
Jinns hawako in the same innovative level as us.
Yeah. This is not their dimension. This is not their world.
They are not.
Yeah.
However much wataenda wafanya nini,
they're just not spiritual beings who understand spiritual matters.
Exactly. And when you say like look at something, ukiangalia innovation, every innovation is good. And everything that tries to destroy innovation is bad.
Yeah.
Hiyo inakukumbusha nani? Like when Lucifer aliona Adam akikaa hapo lifeless as a clay, when all the angels were prostrating before him, this is according to Islam.
Yeah.
Lucifer alikuja akamwangalia akasema what are these people doing? Akamwambia bow down before this person, this creation. Before even he did it, he went through Adam's body. Alienda ndani, nje. And that's why people can get possessed. Genes wako na hiyo nini ya kukuingia through and controlling everybody biological anatomy uko nayo.
Yeah.
And then he said
But they are portals, they are spiritual portals to allow those spirits to get into you.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that. You're right. So akasema there's no way me I am made out of fire. Fire is a very kutoka even kitambo. You remember when man discovered fire, it was something big.
It was huge according to the scientists. Yeah.
So jinn yeye alikuwa amejiona, Lucifer alikuwa amejiona ni kama yeye he's something very precious. Na kitu imetengenezwa na matope. So why umefanya huyu jamaa akwe more important than me?
Yeah.
And akasema that was the first disobedience. Na akasema my promise to you is I will try to stray this thing away from you.
Yeah.
Not only that, I will change this creation of yours.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
Ndio unaona siku hizi wanaume wanakuwa wanawake.
Exactly.
Vice versa.
Exactly.
Na nini?
Exactly. The nature of God is being fought. Turning men into women. Turning women into something we
even
can't even
cyborgs.
understand. Exactly.
Have you seen watu wanakata mkono yao alafu wanakaleka robotic
I have seen it. I've seen something with Elon Musk where you put a chip in your brain that helps you to be, I don't know how powerful you... Have you seen that?
Nimeona hiyo brain chip. So the idea of the
Neuralink, yeah.
The idea of Neuralink is to apparently
integrate computers with human ability. Yeah, it's like it's a concept of fallen angel kind of thing, yeah, that you do not have to be human. We can help you be more powerful with a computer. Anyway, story for another day, bro.
No story for this day.
You see, it's the same concept, eh? When the fallen angels intermarried with human women and brought something that was not created by God.
And what is that product of their relations? Inaitwa nini?
The product of?
The fallen angels and humans mating. What product they give birth to?
Nephilims, the giants.
Okay.
Yeah. And
one more other thing. Why don't we see them today? Because people are still doing these things in dark.
The Noah's floods, that's what was basically to take care of, because the human beings had corrupted themselves so much. The Nephilims were everywhere. They were marrying women, and that is coming back actually. The other day I saw someone raise something very important. There are giants today in the world that are appearing from nowhere. They are becoming social media sensations. No history of their school, no history of having friends. And this is happening everywhere in the world. No, by the way, do you know, this is what Yeshua said. In his second coming, it shall be like the days of Noah. Okay?
It's scary.
It's scary. But I don't believe he's coming back like the way he left. He's coming back as us. He's coming back as humans. And that's the part he was called the Son of Man. This world was given to man, and especially the black man. Very soon the black man is going to rule the world.
Very soon.
Very soon.
DNA alikuwa hapa. Alikuwa anapendanga hizi topics sana.
Yeah.
Alikuwa anasema it's either two things. It's either the white man anajua the capabilities of the African.
Yeah.
Ama the other way of looking at it is we had such a rich history kitambo.
Yeah.
That when we access it hivi kidogo ama knowledge tukiaccess hivi kidogo the white man atakuwa huku down.
Exactly.
And that's why when you are talking about movies ati you don't watch movies for
entertainment purposes.
Now kuna content nilidrop juzi about the whole Diddy fiasco na nini. Na the moment watu wakisikia topic I'm like okay sawa umesikia topic okay sawa I'm going to discuss on this topic, but let me take you somewhere deeper. Na nikawapeleka deeper to a point kuna kitu inaitwa psyop. You know what a psyop is? Those psychological operations. Watatengeneza movie, they will show how powerful American military is, the Marines, sijui how hero wateka handsome person hapo as a hero. hiyo yote iko orchestrated. Let me
And they put the black man in every movie as the bad guy.
And you know hiyo kitu ilianza wapi? Even in colonial times. The movies that were being shipped to Kenya, walikuwa na cancel every movie that had a black hero.
Yeah, true.
Go read something called
it's still happening even in Hollywood to date.
Do you see this guy who's the chairman of this licensing ya content na nini? Nimesahau hii kitu.
Kenya ama?
Kenya.
This guy, he's Dr. Is it Dr. Mutua?
That guy.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Mutua. That guy, bro, is a white man's puppet.
I agree with you.
Remember,
100%.
Remember when that LGBTQ movies juu ya lesbians ilikuwa ime hapa alafu ikaawodiwa for Oscars. They were like, no. The moment.
Are you ready for that conversation, bro?
Bro, let's go.
For that conversation?
Let's
Are
go.
you ready to open that can of worm, man? This is huge.
Vamos, let's go.
This is huge, bro, man.
But before to sidetrack,
yeah.
I was speaking about the psyop. Like they are making things deliberately for you kufuata a narrative.
Yeah.
Do you know how every Arab looks in movies?
Yeah.
Wameportrayiwa kama nini terrorists.
Terrorists.
Haya, how do they display Africa wakiingia? They display Africa as this safari place on the good context. If not, it's either rebels ama this place inahitaji financial aid.
Exactly.
Let's show them pity.
Yeah, let's show them pity. They can't help themselves. They can't govern themselves. Let's come in and help them to be more human beings. We just teach them how to be human beings because they can't govern themselves. That is how programs work. Even you as a human being, you are made of programs. And the only way to interfere with the program is create a virus. And what is a virus is when the program begins to function the way it was not supposed to function. And so we have so much to deprogram right now in terms of viruses we have accepted in the recent past from these guys. And that's why the black people, they look down on themselves. And Yeshua said, this is what I keep quoting him because I believe. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your body, and with all your strength. Number 2, love your neighbor as you love yourself. One thing, these guys made sure that we do not love ourselves.
You're right.
Why? Because you give what you have. If you don't love yourself, you cannot be able to love another person. That brings me to the conversation we started about a mirror, reflection. Life is a reflection of who you are. If you're a thief, you will always think everybody is a thief. But if you're a good person, you have no room to doubt other people.
You're right.
Okay? And now that's the concept of a mirror. That's the concept of reflection. What you see in others is exactly who you are. If you see humanity, you will always see humanity. And so when you have a program inside of you that treats everybody like a suspect, so every decision you make because of that virus will always be negative. You know yin yang, the positive and the negative. That's who we are. So it all depends with what you're feeding. If you feed your negative energy, everything about you will be negative. From your thought process, to your actions, to your dreams, to everything.
Now, nataka uconnect your story na the hip-hop culture. Kwa hiyo content, talking about a psyop, I talked about the fact that hip-hop is a CIA project.
It is.
You see?
Yeah. It was about gangster. It was about shooting each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So, drugs.
Yeah. It was about drugs.
So, it's
illicit sex.
Thank you. So, there's a way they're trying to put down a community. Now, it's either wataiweka down, watasell products, ama nini.
Yeah.
Right now, in USA, if a black man makes it, do you think atarudi kwa hood kuokolewa wase?
They can't.
Wataenda watasema, yo, I have to ice out my chain.
Yeah.
Bust down this watch. Na get. Hawezi rudi.
They can't.
Hii yote. And the moment nimeanza kutap into Pan-Africanism, as recent as this year, bro. Right now, naonanga mzungu na muonanga kama takataka.
I know.
The thing is...
It will take, from here, it will take a lot of grace to love the white people for what they have done to us. Because the kind of awakening now we're going through... It shouldn't even take
grace, bro.
It will take a miracle to accept them in the society. And but I keep saying, as long as they have our DNA, the human DNA, the black man DNA, because we gave them life. Story for another day. The black man gave life to these people. Every other person, it was interbreeding of creatures that produced. Anyway, I don't think people are ready for this conversation.
They're not ready. However, what can you simplify?
Uh-huh.
Let me simplify that because hini kitu pia I came to a recent discovery.
Yeah.
Apparently, two black wacha niseme two Sudanese dark people wakikam together, they can produce a light-skinned chick.
Yes.
Even with the blue eyes.
Yes.
Because why? The light skin, I mean the Caucasian skin, the deficiency of
melanin.
So inamaanisha, see, their kids wana born with a lot of deficiencies in diseases and stuff like vitu kama hizo. So bro, I thought to myself, there's no day a white man wanaweza produce melanin, but melanin can produce their color, even their hair, kila kitu. Have you read on is it Aboriginals? You know Aboriginals? They are Africans who go Australia.
Yeah.
Dark skin.
Yeah, with blue eyes.
Blue eyes, blonde hair.
Yeah.
You imetoka hapi, bro.
Now that's what I'm telling you. Our people are not ready for this conversation, but very soon
Let me tell you why they're not ready. Let me tell you why they're not ready. And it's something I keep telling my fans.
They look down on themselves. They do not know their history. You tell them who they are, they insult you. You tell them, you guys are gods of this world. They insult you. How can I be a god? What are you talking about? I hardly have meals in the evening. I can hardly have 3 meals in the evening. And you're calling me a god. Now you can see the kind of work we have to do mentally to decolonize our people and remove the viruses in the good programs that God has placed in us. You know why, bro? I'm telling you, the world will only know peace when the black man is ruling. You know why? If today you become so powerful, do you know you have no need to colonize Europe? They have nothing to give. What can you take from Europe apart from snow?
Nothing.
If we were to colonize the world,
maybe a couple of Italian women, but that's it.
That's it. Nothing exactly. If we were to colonize United States of America, what good could come out of there? There's nothing. But why are they colonizing Africa? Because it's the source of life. Everything about humanity is in Africa. And that's why we need to keep reminding Africans who they are, irrespective of your religion. Arabs, you know, there are Arabs who are Christians, Muslims, who Islam is about 1600 years old, yeah? 14. Who were they before Islam came? Who were the black people before the story of Christianity came in?
Speaking of, I don't think there's a lot of information on this. Do you know, unasikianga adhan, the Muslim call to prayer?
Yeah.
Do you know who is the person who mwenye alienda akaanzisha hiyo, like the whole thing? It was a black man, alikuwa anaitwa Bilal. Unaget? So I don't know the story of Bilal Vifiti, but the moment they were saying, yo, sasa, this is the religion.
Yeah.
How can we call people for prayer? They said, why don't we like make some noise? Ama nini? Wakasema, no. That's how the Christians ring their bells. So we cannot copy them. So what about the Jews? The Jews wanafanya hivi, we can't copy them. So wakangalia Bilal.
It's good you say that they are Jews and they are Zionists.
They are Jews and they are Zionists. Very good. Very important. So they looked at Bilal. Bilal was a black man. Had a beautiful voice. Wakaambia Bilal, we ni aje? Enda pale juu. Call people to prayer. In fact, it was the innovation of Bilal. Hii yenye unaona kila mtu akisema Allahu Akbar, Allah. Same everywhere. All the places nini, ikwe China, ikwe wapi.
It is his invention, a black
That
man.
was a black man. Na Islam mpaka leo inasemanga hivyo. You see, there's a common narrative of people like wakieka race kila place. And hii kitu it's a what's it called? It's an individualistic problem. You see? Look at the Nation of Islam. I've always said the Nation of Islam is a cult. There's a big difference. There's Islam and the Nation of Islam. Like in Elijah Muhammad.
Same thing with Christianity, bro. Same thing.
So when it comes to Nation of Islam, here ilikuwa another CIA psyop. In the sense that walikuwa na realize, okay, fine, tusha toa history ya segregations ya black na nini, but we don't want this society equal powerful. So wacha tuweke another sayo. Akina Malcolm X walikuwa wanaingia hiyo movement. There is same thing nani is doing right now. Dr. Umar Johnson, unamjua?
Yeah.
Huyo jamaa hataki kusikia anything to do with the white man.
Yeah.
And like it's a bit racial.
It's very personal for him.
It's personal, but the way he's driving it, ndio inanipatianga red flags. In the sense that, dude, why mbona unataka, sisi tunataka ndio tujirecognize, but in the process, wewe unaleta fitina. Hear me out. Between humanity. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Ni kama hii maandamano yetu. Yes, tunataka huyu jamaa ashuke. Lakini unasikia kuna watu wengine wanasema, hatutaki leader. Tuko leaderless. But a leaderless movement is prone to kuanguka. Everyone knows this. So, yes, tuko na the same mission. Lakini hatukubaliani hapa. So, hii ndo fitina. So, people like the Nation of Islam. And that's why when Malcolm X alitoka huko, akenda Saudia, akarealize what the true Islam is. Because hapo ndo, you remember that letter when he wrote back? What did he write? He said, I shared a cup with a white man with blue eyes. Now that my cup ilienda kwa mtu mwingine from a different continent, an Indian. I shared a cup with an Arab, a white man, and a black man, and an Indian. Na ilienda. Why did they kill him? Because yeye alikuwa amekuja akasema niaje, yeye alikuwa amepiga tu, alikuwa amekuja hapa akapatana na kina Pioga Mapinto, akina Nigeria, akapatana na kina Kwame Nkrumah. You see? So when he was going back, first of all, yeye alikuwa na agenda ngapi? Mbili
peke yake.
Saying the Nation of Islam is a total scam. Na kusema by the way, all blacks, roots zenu ziko wapi? Africa.
Ziko Africa.
I've always said it's a harsh opinion to have. But those Africans when you grow up in America, those are blacks. You and me, we are not blacks. Na hakuna ile siku, me there's a day I told a person, I'm not a black person. I will first identify as a Somali. Number 2, I will identify as a Kenyan. Number 3, I will identify as an African. There is no day you're going to put me as a black. And do you know why? The white man is so interested in categorizing new wote as Africans. Because wao wako Europeans, hawajui pali wametoka. They have no, like hawana culture, hawana mlango, hawana tribes, hawana clans. Nyinyi, which tribe are you from?
Kikuyu.
So, umetoka wapi?
Kiambu.
Kuna Wakikuyu wa Kiambu, Murang'a,
Nyeri, Embu, Kirinyaga.
Kila mtu akona different dialects na nini. And that's why they realized he tribe, ama the African, what's it called, culture, is so hard to get rid of. So wacha tuwalete yetu na tuko tribalism huko. So
it's always about divide and rule.
Thank you. So right now ukiangalia corporate, ama the culture is in corporate. Those people unajua wapenani kuongea Kiswahili ama their mother tongue. They shy away, ama ile design, let me share my culture to you. Tunapatana hapa, we are speaking English pekee. Unaget? The reason is Mau walikuwa wamefundiwa with almost every tribe in Kenya. Kama if a tribe didn't participate in the fighting of Mau, they definitely funded it. Unaget? Somali sisi tulikuwa part of the north, eastern. Mimi familia yangu naweza trace all the way mpaka time ya colonialism. Huko Garissa tu bado. You see? However, again nimekuambia mimi niko na Asiari background, meaning nimeenda to Christian schools. Ukienda to vile ulisema ignorance is a terrible thing. Ndio kwa maana watu wanakufa hata.
Ukienda in this hapo, every bad thing is in ignorance.
So ukienda, when I used to study in Kikuyu lands, I used to hear the phrase rudi kwenu. You get? Like this is not your place, go back home. But home ni Garissa. Garissa as in history.
Kenya.
In history. And unafaa ku understand pia who you are. You guys are farmers. Sio? As we are nomads.
Apparently.
You see? So, tulikuwa tuna move kutoka Garissa, Ethiopia, because ukiangalia the original map ya Somalia, imechukua part of northeastern, imechukua part of Ogaden in Ethiopia. Ndio sasa the British akakuja akasema look at coast in itself. Nikikwambia the Fort Jesus is 500,000 years, I mean 500 years old. Coast walikuwa na sultan yao. They had their kings. Their kings wali interact na the Chinese kings. In fact, the first what's it called? Giraffes in China. Do you know nani waliwapelekea huko? Ni Wakosti tu.
Wakosti.
Imagine
Walizitoa wapi?
Giraffe as in existence ya giraffe haifai kukua China.
Yeah, true.
But vile ule like in the sense that the Sultan of Coast vile ali travel to China, he had to bring in gifts.
Yeah.
So akaleta giraffe. The Chinese people have never seen a giraffe.
And you give what you have anyway.
So wakiona this beautiful creature na nini, and when the sasa huyo king wa China vile alitua pia Africa, alipitia coast. You get Portuguese also hapo ndo wakaanza their nini, wali colonize coast kwanza before the British, alafu British ndo wakakuja wakachukua hiyo territory. So tukikuja full circle na tupatie that African core village hii knowledge ya history. Do you think ataniambia wewe rudi kwenu atajua Msomali?
Yeah.
We live in the same territory and we need each other one way or another.
Who are you? Let me ask you, Nas. Who are you?
Who?
You. Are you a religion? Are you an Arab? Are you Islam? Are you Kenyan? Are you Somali? Who are you?
Okay, it's different because kuna watu wengi wana confuse the two. As a religion, tukieka religion aside, tukieka me being an human as an identity, I am a Somali. You see? Now, when it comes to...
Somalis have what genes? What DNA? What is the DNA of Somalis?
But you know, Somalis, again, tukienda down the rabbit hole, it's about race. You understand? Because me and you, tukiangalia deeper, we are not of the same race. Do you understand? We are Africans, but different races. Ni kama Europe. Wao wamejiclassify, but there's a difference between an Italian and a German. You see? Now look, you are a Bantu. I am a Kushite. Kati ya Kushites, tuko na Marendile, tuko na Borana, tuko na sisi wa Somali.
That history?
Of course, in history, yenye imepass your downs to, what's it called?
Who called us Bantus? Who called us Kushites?
Yeah, I get where you're going.
You get my point? Who said you are a Kushite? Who said I'm a Bantu?
Definitely the white man. Because hakuna msemo.
Because it's always about divide and rule.
You're right, bro. Fuck. Now this is why I like this podcast. Juu kuna realizations zingine. You're right, because there's no day.
Yeah.
Wasomali watakuja waseme sisi wale na wale, all of us are Kushites. I guess now that you bring, that's fucking deep. Now that you bring about it, think of this. Kushites wote walikuwa wanaishi in the same place. Sawa? Nilotes, all of them walikuwa wanaishi in the same place. Think of this way. Then now that you have talked about it, so when the white man alikuwa na come, akiangalia the geography,
anasema hawa tutawaita Kushites.
Because hawa, it was the labels. Hii inaenda wapi? These are the Kushites. Hii ndo land tuna colonize. And the biggest evidence of colonial rule in Africa ni straight lines. Africans hatujai kuwa na straight lines. Ukiangalia there is no... Hata ukiangalia Europe, America, hakuna country iko like on a straight line imedividiwa hivi. Look at Kenya imekuwa straight. Nini wako na straight lines. So I guess walikuja tu wakaangalia hiyo map hivi wakasema hii area
that happened in Belgium. Was it about 400 years ago? It's called the Scramble for Africa. And they put boundaries. You see the mental, spiritual boundaries they were first physical. Call this country Somali, call this one Uganda, call this one Ethiopia, call this one Sudan. It's if the boundaries are not physical, they become mental and spiritual. So that now you start identifying yourself with the boundaries. But who are you beyond the boundaries? That's where the truth is.
That's a very complex question. Who am I?
Who are you?
First of all, I am Nasir, yes. Lakini fuck.
I can help you answer that question.
Okay, go on.
You're a human being. I'm a human being.
Okay.
Who are human beings? Creation of God. All these are bullshit and bull crap about religion, races. So I told you the truth is in DNA. We have a long way to go until we one day realize and say, man, we are human beings.
Nilikwambia wana wa kuisha ni rahisi sana.
Ndio. Imeisha.
Lakini bado tunaendelea. Mimi niko na time bado. I hope usiku...
No, it's okay.
Now, I see where you're going, bro. You have a very brilliant mind. And it's the same thing. You see, I usually ask myself why a lot. Na hiyo why inanipelekanga down some rabbit holes.
Without whys, you will never get answers. And that's why religion is a white man's oppression and slavery kind of tool because it tells you do not question. Do not question the authority. Pray for the authority. Pray for your dictators. If someone is preaching to you and you do not agree with them, don't question them. You will make God angry. And so for you to know who you are, you must step outside the box. The boxes of religion, the boxes of Sijui, Bantus, Kushites, and then now you can look at life from there.
I cannot actually, personally, vile umeisema
Me and you
hivyo,
look the same.
personally,
color.
vile umesema hivyo,
Mm-hmm.
umerelate exactly na me because that's where paliniko sahi. Like, nilijitoa. I'm not religious, I was not spiritual in Islam. Unaget kitambo because again, nime grow up in...
My religion is humanity
Okay.
and justice.
Okay. Now speaking of justice, hebu acha tuingie hiyo form ya Israel. Juu nimesikia umewatandika vibaya.
Si kuwatandika, I'm just speaking the truth.
No, you're hitting them with facts. Hiyo ndo kitu hawatakangi kusikia.
Yeah.
Unacheki. And most Christians wakisema these are the chosen people of God. They don't really understand that these are the same people. They're like, you're not in the same religion. Why? Mbona unawatetea? Fun fact is, a Jew anaweza ingia kwa mosque, apray, apatiwe section yake, apray.
A Zionist.
Even a Zionist, tuseme tu hivi, in that religion yao. But do you know how is ingia church?
They can't.
Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because Jesus is portrayed on the cross. So kwao, they say that, first of all, they don't believe in Jesus. Number one.
Yeah.
They don't believe he came. Wao wanamwongoja.
Yeah.
Ama the Christian Jesus wanamuitanga a conman. Hiyo ndo kitu iko.
Yeah.
Number two is the fact that they don't have any idols ama nini kwa nini yao. But that's hiyo si nini factor. The factor is this is the same people wameita Jesus a conman.
Yeah.
How can you call them the people of God? And they don't understand that there was you know the villager 254 Patrick.
Yeah, I know him.
Alikuja hapa akasema, is your friend? Nice. Alikuja hapa akasema, the people don't know there's a difference between the religious, I mean the spiritual Israel, and the physical Israel.
Yeah.
Ile spiritual Israel ni mimi na wewe, like it's us, children of Israel.
Yeah.
Unaget? Islam talks about Bani Israel, but sijui, I'm very agree on that area, so stay bring it up.
No, okay.
So kindly before tuingii maneno yako ingine yenye nikosho ita cause fire hapo kwa studio. Ebu let's deal with this because hii ni kitu yani nilikuwa najaribu ever since nianze TikTok. I tried to put it in a way that kila mtu ataelewa. But siko nataka kuiweka hapo because if it's a monologue, people wouldn't listen to you. But if it's a dialogue from two different people, two different cultures, two different religious ideologies who are actually saying this is evil, possibly tunaweza convince a few people.
Yeah.
So I think this is the best chance nimekuwa nayo. So please walk us through.
All right. Where do you want me to start?
Tuanze tu hapo 1948.
1948. 1948, the Rothschild family and the British government and the American government created a nation called Israel. There was no nation called Israel. There was no map in the world before that was known as Israel. The ancient maps, you could see this is Rome, this is Palestine, this is Ethiopia, this is those ancient names, yeah? But there was no place called Israel. So they created a nation called Israel. For who? For Zionists. Who are Zionists? Zionists are Europeans. Okay? Who are Europeans? Europeans are the Roman empires, the fallen great Roman Empire that conquered the world, that conquered kingdoms, that conquered Greek, that conquered every other king. The Persians, they were conquered by the Romans. And so what happened is, how was it created? The Roman Empire conquered an empire. They banned everything about them, but kept their libraries. They borrowed the literatures, the philosophies, and everything. So they stole. Okay, that's the Greek Empire. And so the Roman Empire, the hardware of the soldiers and the military men were the Roman Empire. But the software that started running the empire came from the Greek Empire. The books, the literatures, the philosophies that they borrowed from them. They created such a powerful empire that it was technically impossible for anyone in the world to conquer it. It's one of the kingdoms that stayed in power for a very long time. What brought the Roman Empire down is that their moral fiber became so decayed that they could not agree. Some of their Caesars, they were sleeping with small boys. They were some of the most immoral people in the world. And the kind of things they were doing, we can't say some of the things in camera. So what happened is, now the Roman Empire split into small states. The headquarters of the Roman Empire is still active to date. It's called the Rome, Italy. That's where the Roman Catholic is. It's a small state that's very powerful, that has created systems that run the world. Religion is one of the systems that has continually colonized people mentally and even spiritually. So these European countries split, the Roman Empire split into small pieces. Some called Britain, Romania, Poland, Germany, Portugal. They splitted. And so what happened is, 2,000 years ago, Yeshua, who called Jesus, was born into this world. By the time he was being born, these are the Hebrews, okay? Because he's in that lineage. By the time he was being born, the Roman Empire had conquered the Hebrews. And so the Hebrews knew that there was a savior that was coming to save them from the Romans. But he said, my kingdom is not of this world. I've come to set you mentally free and spiritually. What you do with that freedom is up to you. I'm not here for military war. That is not my purpose. Okay, in fact, it is said someone like Judas is one of the reasons he got so annoyed with Christ. He said, man, we were waiting for you to help us. So what happens is, the disciples of Jesus, let me call him that for the purposes of the people who are watching, they believed in him so much that the Roman Empire could not stop them. He created crusaders who believed in his message that the sword could not stop them. So what did the Roman Empire do? They re-strategized their idea to conquer the world. They said, we have to be Christians. We have to put the cross on our swords, our military gear, and we will conquer the world with the message of this man, Jesus Christ. Okay? And so they started conquering the rest of the world with the Bible. If you hear how nations were turned into Christianity by the Roman Empire, there is no kindness of God in the strategies they were using. So they will tell you, if you don't become a Christian, we will set you as an example. And so they created something called the Catholic Church. It started in Rome. Even Paul the Apostle went to Rome, the heart of the Roman Empire.
However, I'll let you continue, sorry. However, tumeingia zone.
Yeah.
Nataka tu kukupatia point. I don't know if you believe in this. The Catholic Church existed way before Jesus.
No.
Not as Christianity.
Yes.
Wao walikuwa their own governance.
Yes. Let me tell you.
It's just that after Christianity, wakachukua sasa that message of Jesus wakaifanya
institution. I am coming to that, my brother.
Okay, go on.
The reason they have been stealing ideas and philosophies of people and religions is because they know when to change tactic. You can't use the same tactic for so long because it eventually loses power and grip over people. If you look at the Roman Empire, they had their gods like Zeus, Zeus. He was a god they borrowed from the Greeks, the god of skies and thunders. Okay? So they realized now this god, they don't have an original god, by the way. The Roman Catholic does not have an original god. They take what is working. Okay? So they realized Zeus is no longer powerful. Zeus has never healed people. Because the disciples of Jesus, their shadows are healing people. Now they borrowed that religion. So they created Christianity to be the new form of conquest, to conquer the world. Are you getting me? So they started traveling. Because these guys, remember, they have been conquering the world since time immemorial, even the Babylonian, the time of Daniel, the time of Jeremiah. The same guys, Babylonians and the Roman, one and the same thing. So the philosophy that created the Roman Empire was from the Greek. Who did the Greek conquer to be the greatest empire in the world? It was the Hebrews. The Hebrews created, every time the Hebrews were conquered by a people, they created the world civilization. Are you getting me? So whom did the Greek borrow this philosophy and these books from? It is the Hebrews. Who are Hebrews? Hebrews are the people who have the history of slavery. Who has the history of slavery in this world? It's the black man. I told you from the beginning of this conversation, the way to build a nation is through hard work. And only the melanin people can work 24/7. Whether it's raining, whether it's extremely sunny, they will work. That's the work of a melanin. Okay? So, the Hebrews, let me take you from a little bit back. Daniel, when they were in slavery, you know Daniel, the story of Daniel, he realized that God had promised them, the Hebrews, that after 70 years, he was going to deliver them from King Nebuchadnezzar. And then he realized our 70 years are over. If you read the book of Daniel chapter 2, it says, and I, Daniel, gained a heart of knowledge from reading. What did he read? Their chronicles, what we call the Bible. What had Jeremiah said? That the Hebrews are going to be taken into captivity for disobedience. And God said, after 70 years, I'm going to deliver them. So Daniel, a young man, realized from reading the chronicles of Hebrews, our God had said after 70 years we are going to be delivered. He went before God and he started reminding God, you said through Jeremiah that after 70 years you're going to deliver us. This is our 70th year. You know what happened? God sends an angel, because Daniel fasted for 21 days to hear from God. And so God, the book of Daniel says, and God had him on the first day. He had fasted for 21 days. But on the first day he started praying, God had him. Why? Because God was looking for someone to remind him. Not that he forgot. Are these guys, do they read my chronicles? Do they read their history? And so God answers Daniel and sends an angel with his prayers. But the angel is captured by such strong spiritual forces. And they take the angel into captivity. That tells you there is a kingdom above us.
Oh, hold up. So, who captured this angel?
He's called the Persian king. He's a principality, a demon. And so God sends an archangel. Was it Gabriel? I think it was Gabriel. I'll check the facts. So God sends the archangel, delivers the smaller angel, and now delivers the message to Daniel. And he tells him, yes, I've heard your prayer, and I'm going to deliver you. So, was it Caesar or who came and conquered Babylon? I can fact check. I love giving facts. Go ahead. So he comes, and he captures that kingdom and tells the Hebrews, you're free, go back to your native land. And that's how they went back to their native land. That's how freedom. So the question now here is, who are the Hebrews that their history has been stolen by all these empires all this time? Who are these Hebrews that have been building world civilizations? These are the same Hebrews that you find them as early as Abraham. Abraham, when he has an encounter with God, he gets into a very deep sleep. And God tells him in that sleep, in that vision, your descendants are going to go down to Egypt. And they will stay there for 400 years. But I will bring them in the land I've promised you. So you know how Joseph dreams, he has these visions, and then his 11 brothers are so jealous of him, they decide to kill him. But that day, just before they kill him, they happened to be Arabs. Now, I'll tell you who the Arabs are. So they are there. They're walking through the desert people. They understood the art of desert because these are the only people who had the capacity to survive in desert. So as they're passing through the desert, the brothers see them and say, hey, we want to sell you a slave here. And so Joseph finds himself in Egypt. The boy is there. God is with him. The Spirit of God is in him. The guy is so brilliant. Read again. Joseph says that he knew how to read. His father Jacob had taught him how to read and write. So the Hebrews are people who have known the art of reading and writing. So the guys, the Potiphar guy and the guys in Egypt are so scared of this young man who knows how to read and write, and he's doing things to perfection. And so, you know, people love brilliant minds, and so they start giving him positions of power. Every position of power he's given, he succeeds so greatly. And so, but again, he was a very young, handsome man. You know what happened with the woman, the Potiphar's wife. You know the story? He sees this young man, he really wants to sleep with this young man. But this young Hebrew knows sleeping with someone's wife is wrong. Remember, the laws of Moses had not come, but the laws were written in his heart. Yet Moses had not come, because Moses comes after the 400 years to take them from Egypt to the promised land. What laws was Joseph using to know that it is wrong to sleep with someone's wife? Yet there was no law that was written for the Hebrews. It was written in his mind and in his heart. So he could not dare sleep with that woman. And he goes to prison for that. Now, I don't have to go into the details. Many people know about the story. But the 400 years the Hebrews were in Egypt, they created a superpower, which now we can relate. You and I know that Egypt was a superpower for the longest time. But it was a superpower because of the Hebrews who are working for them. In fact, there's one time, the story is in the Bible. This one time, the world gets into a universal hunger that strikes the whole world. And this guy, Joseph, has a brilliant idea on how to save the economy of Egypt. Because the king, how Joseph is introduced to the king, to the Pharaoh, is because of a disturbing dream the king had. About 7 cows, which were very thin, and other 7 cows that were very fat. So the 7 cows comes from nowhere. They feed so well on the field. They look so healthy. Then 7 other very thin cows come from nowhere, and they eat these 7 cows. So the king, Pharaoh, calls all his wizards or his magicians, all these guys who read signs, and say, I've been paying you to help me get things spiritually right. Now, if you're meaningful to me, I want you to interpret what the dream says. No, not first interpret. I need you to tell me, because you bring to me spiritual matters. So you must be connected to the spiritual world.
So you tell me before I tell you.
Tell me the dream I had. Before you interpret the dream, you tell me the dream I had. Oh man, the witches and the sorcerers says, Mr. King, Mr. Pharaoh, what you're asking for, it is technically impossible for anybody to know what you dreamt about. And then he says, he orders a decree. If you're not going to tell me what I dreamt, all of you, I'm going to put you to death. But there was this guy, there were two guys who were working in the king's palace. And there was some bone of contention that led them to the prison. So when they're in the prison, they both had a dream. And so they go to Joseph. Remember the dreamer? So they tell him, hey, manze, we dreamt like this. What is the meaning of the dream? Now Joseph says, I will tell you what the dream means. So he tells this guy what the dream means, and this other guy dreams. So he tells him, you, in 3 days, you will be killed. And this other guy says, no, in 3 days, you will be forgiven, and you're going back to the palace. But when you get there, remember me. But the guy goes into palace, just like Joseph had told him, and he forgets. But now this issue in the palace of the dream that bothered the king, the servant remembers, oh my God, there is a guy who could interpret dreams. So he goes to the king and tells him, Mr. King, there is like a guy, I was with him in the prison. He's a Hebrew. He could understand dreams, and he interpreted dreams, and exactly what he said is what happened. So the king says, bring him. He was in prison. So the guy is taken from the prison straight into the palace. The king tells him, now, I have had a very disturbing dream. And you're a Hebrew, yes. Now, I need you to come and tell me the kind of dream I had and tell me its interpretation. And then Joseph says, that is a bit hard. However, I have a God. The God of Hebrews. He can be able to do that. So Joseph goes, he prays to God, and God gives him the exact dream the king had. So he goes back to the king, and the king says, so you're here? Yeah. What is it about? It's the dream. So in details, letter to letter, Joseph tells the king the dream he had. You will not believe it. And so what's the interpretation? Joseph tells him, there is going to be 7 years